Welcome back, everyone. Welcome back. Another edition of Hurricanes Unfiltered Live. Powered by Come On Now, the podcast. We talk facts over feelings. I'm your host, Rudy Rodriguez Show Mott. If you haven't done so yet, you're in the room. Hit the like button right now. Leave a comment. Let me know you're here. Welcome aboard, Jake Jacobs. Appreciate you. If you are in the room, jump in the comments. Let me know you are here. I do hope to open the phone lines tonight. I hope people want to talk about this game with me. I got plenty to say about it. But hey, I tell you what, you could look at this a couple of ways when it comes to the Miami Hurricanes, playoffs, their situation and standing in the ACC, Mario Cristobal, performance. You could look at these things from any variety of ways. You can look at it from a perspective of, oh man, we blew those two games. You could do that. You would be very in your right to do it. You could be one of those people that says, it's okay, Jimmy. It's okay. It's okay. You could be that. You could be one who's more centered, saying, yeah, we probably shouldn't have lost those games, but yo, that crap is unacceptable, which would be very understandable. We could also be those who say, oh, the season's over. Oh, the season's over. Oh, we have no chance. Oh, they're going to screw us again. Oh, they're going to do it. You can play the role of the victim. And in the Miami Hurricane world, we got a lot of victims. I mean, the victimhood in Miami Hurricane fandom is wild. And I'm a Hurricane fan, so I got no problem calling it out because I'm very well aware of what exists in the Miami Hurricane fan base. People that complain, people that view losses as the season being over, people who, when you lose a game, don't come back. And then there's others that are the eternal optimists that also, quite frankly, drive me crazy as well. I am a more centered individual when it comes to all of this stuff. I am not the season is over type of guy. In general, I might be emotional for a day and say after the SMU game, season is over. But when you have time to reflect and you see how things have adjusted and how they've worked themselves out, you can understand and acknowledge the fact that the reality was when Miami lost to SMU, my initial thought was the season was over based on my expectation of where I thought the Hurricanes would drop down to in the rankings. But they did not. And the next day, I adjusted my commentary because I thought Miami would be ranked below 20. I thought we would have it stuck to us and rammed up our ass and told you, y'all going to be ranked between 20 and 25, and y'all season is over. And then we come back ranked at, I think it was 18. And I'm like, oh, no, there's a chance. Like in what was that movie? Dumb and Dumber. So you're saying there's a chance. And I've been saying now for the last 3 weeks since we lost to SMU, there is a chance. The first thing that has to get done is we have to handle our business because it doesn't matter about the chance if you don't do the job on the field. Welcome aboard, Jake. Let me add the comments to the screen. My bad, guys. And then you get into that first game with Syracuse, and quite frankly, we look like straight up shit. And then the problem last year was that we didn't have enough of the game. And that's the difference. The difference between last year and this year was like last year we didn't have another game. We lost the last game of the season, and that was it. If we had had four more chances after that, after being dropped to 13, Miami's probably making the playoffs last year. Last year's team, if they dropped from because what were we ranked when we lost to Syracuse? Like four? We had climbed all the way back up. We were still top 8, top 6, something like that. If we had lost to Syracuse mid-season and not lost it in the last game of the season, I do believe that we probably could have climbed ourselves back up into the top 10. But we didn't have that this year. This year we fall to 18, but this year we had 4 games left to make it up. I'm not saying you shouldn't have worries. I'm not saying that you shouldn't have concern. But when I read comments on certain message boards, Facebook, etc., and the stuff of season's over, well, then you don't then if you think the season's over, don't turn the TV on. That would be my message to you. Why waste your time? What, just so you can complain about it? I'm not saying it's the all that are listening to me right now, but there is a large contingent of the Hurricane fan base that gave up after SMU, and within 1 week, Miami was back in the top 15. And as you see them climb up and climb up, we are now sitting at number 13 in the AP poll. Let me remind you, we did not fall behind Vanderbilt in either poll. They were ranked ahead of us in both of those polls, but the CFP moved us ahead of Vanderbilt. So we are ahead of Vanderbilt in the poll that matters. I do not anticipate that Miami will drop behind Vanderbilt because they beat Kentucky. Kentucky sucks, just like Virginia Tech sucks. Vanderbilt played at home. Miami went on the road. Miami dominated that game. I know it wasn't the prettiest one, but we dominated the game. That's why watching the game matters. Like that game there was never a danger of losing to Virginia Tech. There was never a danger. We were up 20-3, 27-10. The game wasn't close. Well, yeah, we wanted it to be 41-10. Yeah, we wanted that. We wanted it. Yeah. Guess who stopped it? Coaching slow ass tempo and only having 8 possessions in an entire game, which is utterly ridiculous. 61 plays in an entire game. Utterly ridiculous. The AP absolutely has an impact on the polls. I said it 5 weeks ago. I've been saying it all season. I've been saying it all season long. The AP rankings matter. They matter because it's what they use as their baseline to make decisions on rankings. If you ask the AP today and you erased the AP and you erased the coaches poll and you had to rank the top 12 teams in America right now, do you think that Miami would not be in the top 12? Of course they would. They absolutely would. If I gave you a resume and I showed you the resume, no team name attached, just the resume of every team, Miami's a top 10 team in the country with the losses to SMU and Louisville. Yes, they are. And that's why the rankings are all a bunch of bullshit. And that's why it's garbage when you start a season with 10 SEC teams ranked in the top 25 or an 8-3 Pitt needing to go through hell to just get ranked, or a Georgia Tech losing and falling to like 23 in a poll, or whenever an ACC team loses, it's like it's the tumble of they just tumble the fuck out. They just tumble the hell out. SEC team loses 10, 13, 12, 15. They gave Alabama the opportunity to get ranked all the way back up to number 4 after losing to Florida State in a butt kicking. The AP has an absolute influence in the CFP because the CFP voters are morons. They don't watch football. And I've said that all season. They do not watch football. Do you really think that the Notre Dame 70-7 win over Syracuse matters? No, it doesn't matter. Who cares that Notre Dame crushed a bad team? Good. Good for you. They scored 21 points before their offense went on the field because Syracuse was playing a lacrosse player at quarterback, the same lacrosse player that did not play against us, actually. They put the other guy back in. We didn't play the lacrosse guy to the last possession when we had our third and fourth stringers out there. But if we had played the lacrosse guy, we might have had 2 pick sixes in the first 4 minutes of the game. We might have had a punt return for a touchdown. They were up 21-0 before their offense took a snap. So no, I don't care about their 70-7 win when they're getting 50, 60-yard runs. CJ Carr threw for less than 50 yards. He threw for less than 50 yards. They had the ball for 18 minutes and scored 70 points. It's not playing great. That's an anomaly. That's an outlier. And it doesn't matter because they played Boston College 2 weeks ago and won 25-10 over a 1-10 team. And no one said a word about it. No one even noticed. Louisville's not a bad loss. It really isn't. When you really look at, they lost to SMU last week minus their quarterback and running back. You think if Isaac Brown doesn't play against Miami, that Miami loses to Louisville? You think if Miller Moss and Isaac Brown don't play against Miami, that Miami loses to Louisville? We should have beat them regardless. But the point was, SMU played a highly compromised Louisville team. Louisville's a good team. Are they a great team? No. SMU's a good team. Are they a great team? No. SMU has a legitimate chance to play for the ACC championship and could be 9-3 going into the ACC championship. Like, I am conflicted on the SMU thing, realistically, because if they lose, then our loss looks worse. If they win, then our loss looks better. It's like you lost to them. The only way is if it gets you into the ACC championship game. Realistically, that's the only way in hell that I want SMU to lose, because I think there's a Duke factor here. I don't know why Duke would be a factor in Miami making the ACC championship when we would have identical records. Would our overall ACC numbers have Duke ahead of us? I'm not sure. Again, we're ranked 20. I mean, Duke's not even ranked. So I don't know how that would factor in. If someone knows, put it in the chat, because I'm not sure. I thought the first thing was ranking after. I mean, there'll be so many tiebreakers, because if SMU was to lose, we'd be tied with SMU. We'd be tied with Duke if they win. We would be tied with Georgia Tech. We lost to SMU, but I'm not sure. I'm not 100% sure. If y'all know, let me know. That said, I hope Duke loses to make it simple. But and Wake Forest should beat Duke. They're better than Duke. But again, going back to the SMU component, if SMU's a 9-3 team playing for the ACC championship, we lost to a team that's in the ACC championship on their home field. And we needed about as bad of a freaking personal foul call that could ever happen to have that happen. I don't know why we would not have the tiebreaker on Duke. I don't know why. The Virginia-NC State game was not an ACC game because that was a replacement game, and that's just how it goes. It sucks. It's stupid, in fact. Like, they should not have been able to replace it with an ACC opponent, personally, in my opinion. But they did lose to NC State, and it's like, again, it doesn't matter. But nonetheless, I'm not sure exactly how. I mean, if Duke was to get into the ACC championship, you better hope to God and pray that Virginia wins. Like, you need Virginia to win. I mean, you need or you don't. I don't know. It would be embarrassing to have Duke in the fucking play in the damn playoffs. They would get absolutely annihilated in the first round. They get annihilated. No, they did. It got scheduled. I understand. I understand all that stuff. Like that's neither here nor there. I just don't think that you allow them to replace them with an ACC team. Let them replace them with somebody else. But again, nonetheless, there's Miami lost to two solid football teams. They're not great teams. They're not bad. They're damn sure not bad teams. Like this narrative that's been flown everywhere that the ACC is so horrible. Bro, Texas A&M ain't beat nobody in the top fucking 8 in their conference. Like this is what we're talking about. Texas A&M has not beaten anybody ranked in the top 8 in their conference. Don't believe me? You want to know who Texas A&M is beaten to be ranked number 3? Let's see. Texas A&M. Because this is what they should be looking at. Now they're undefeated, so really there's nothing you can say. But the number 1 and number 2 teams in the country, the number 1 and number 3 teams in the country right now have played nobody. They played nobody. They've played absolutely nobody. Let's take a look right here. Texas A&M. Here we go. A&M, they're 7-0, and their wins are against Auburn, 1-6 in SEC play. Mississippi State, 1-6 in SEC play. Florida, 2-6 in SEC play. Arkansas, 0-7 in ACC play. LSU, 3-4 in SEC play. Missouri, 3-4 in SEC play. South Carolina, 1-7 in SEC play. And their final game will be the only game against someone in the top 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Yeah, top 8. And that will be Texas. And this team is literally being handed a trip to the playoffs because they didn't play anybody. They didn't play anybody. And what you're going to have now is a Texas A&M potential SEC championship game against Alabama, because Alabama does hold the tiebreaker over Georgia. I don't know if they hold it over Ole Miss, though. So I wouldn't know how that works there either. But they do hold the tiebreaker over Georgia. I'm not sure. I am not sure. And then you go look at Ohio State's record and their schedule. And their schedule is a bigger joke than Texas A&M's is. Because their best, the best team they played is Texas all season. These bums played Grambling, Ohio, Minnesota, Illinois, Wisconsin, Penn State, Purdue, UCLA, Rutgers. The one game that was a decent team was Washington. Their conference opponents, Washington's the only one in the top 5 in the conference going into this week at Michigan. I'm going to bet you this. Michigan's going to beat Ohio State. Michigan's going to go beat Ohio State, which it's not going to cause a problem because Michigan's ranked so far down at 18. But you know what could happen if that happens? I don't know if Michigan can possibly play for the Big Ten championship, or if that would lock in Oregon versus Indiana. I'm not sure. Or if Ohio State would still play for the Big Ten championship. Again, I'm not sure. Oregon could lose at Washington. I'm being real. This weekend's going to be bananas. And that's why when I would say people, yo, it's not over, man. These teams still got to play. These teams still got to play. If Bama loses again the SEC championship, ranked number 10, they're done. Like, they're done. Number 9, they're done. This isn't last year where Bama was ranked 3 or Georgia. I'm like, this wasn't this. People gotta remember this thing. This one particular thing. This ain't last year. This ain't last year. SMU, if you make the conference championship, that game freaking matters. You don't get a do-over or a mulligan for losing the conference championship game. You don't get a mulligan for that. You don't get a do-over because now you went from number 7 and they only move you to 11 so that you don't fall. That ain't gonna happen. That's not gonna happen. I don't believe that's gonna happen this year. Alabama being ranked 10th and losing in the conference championship does not move them to 11 or 10. You're done. They're gone. They lose in the conference championship. They're done. They're done. I almost want Florida to beat Florida State just for the sake of making the Alabama loss to FSU be even worse. Because we played them both and we beat them both. So it's like, who cares? But then I also don't want, and then you have the SEC component. So it's like, I don't even know. But I would actually prefer the Florida wins just for the fact that it makes that SEC, that loss to Bama look worse. That loss for Bama to look worse. But you look at these teams that Ohio State played. They played nobody. Again, another team that's gotten a free pass all the way through. And they played Texas when Texas was really fucking trash. Texas is not that trash. They're trash enough, but they're not that level of trash. I think Texas is highly overrated. I've always felt that way. Then you look at but again, my whole point at the end of this thing is just to say, yo, we got a lot of football to play this weekend. There's a lot of games going on. And the first thing that Miami has to do is they have to beat the team that they got to play, and that's Pitt. And Pitt will be a ranked team. So you're gonna have your 4th ranked game this weekend. On the road in 35-degree weather. And anyone who has any sense whatsoever knows, they know without a doubt. And if LSU beats Oklahoma, Oklahoma's gone. That's their 3rd loss. See, that's why there's so many things, there's so many parts moving. Oregon, they lose to Washington, they might be out. That's their 2nd loss. Because they also won't make the Big Ten championship if they lose. They can't make the Big Ten championship at that point. They lose to Washington, they're out of there. Oklahoma loses to LSU. It's totally possible that can happen. Oklahoma doesn't score. LSU doesn't score. They both have solid defenses. LSU can beat Oklahoma. Oklahoma's not impressive. Oklahoma beating Missouri last week 17-6 was not impressive. LSU is terrible. Fine. Oklahoma is winning games by scoring 20 points to win games. If Oklahoma was scoring 35-40, I'd say differently. But Oklahoma does not score points. Oklahoma doesn't score. And that's the thing that LSU can't do. They can't score. Oklahoma. Here's just Oklahoma's last. Let's go since Texas. Heck, you could go before Texas. They scored 24 against Michigan. They only scored 35 points against Illinois State, 24 against Auburn, 6 against Texas, 26 against South Carolina, 26 against Ole Miss, 33 against Tennessee, 23 against Bama, and 17 versus Missouri. The team struggles to score. They struggle to score. They struggle to move the ball. No, Ohio State's in. But see, this is where I would ask the question. And this is why I pose the question to you. If Ohio State loses to Michigan, which I think they will, because they ain't played nobody yet, I think they're going to lose to Michigan. What happens if Ohio State then plays in the Big Ten championship and loses again? Leave a comment on that. What happens if Ohio State loses its last 2? Jacoby Thomas will play on Saturday. Apparently, he had nothing wrong with his arm. It was a bruise. He's good. They said today he's going to play. He's fine. He's good to go. Jacoby Thomas is good to go this Saturday, according to Mario Cristobal today. What would happen if Ohio State lost to Michigan and then lost in the Big Ten championship? So let's say they drop from 1 to 7, 1 to 6. Does Ohio State fall all the way out? They should. Because their schedule sucks. Their schedule, they will have had 1 win over a top. Where's Illinois right now? They'll have 2 wins over ranked opponents this year. And Illinois right now is ranked Nowhere. Illinois is no longer ranked. Illinois ain't ranked either. So they've only got one win over a ranked team right now in college football, and that's over Texas. And we got a ranked win over a team in college football. That's Notre Dame. We got a better ranked win than they do. Michigan will not go over Miami. They don't have that. They're not going to jump 7 spots. They're not going to play in the Big Ten championship, so they can't get in over Miami. You can't afford Michigan to. They're not going to move Michigan 7 slots above Miami. People, relax. See, this is y'all really are living this. This is the victim mentality. You really think that you're relax? They're not moving 7 slots above Miami when Miami's playing a ranked opponent on the road in 35-degree temperature. Michigan's playing at home. Their defense is legit. Their team ain't. They're good, but they're not. They ain't play nobody. They haven't had a close game all year. Outside the first one, 14-7. They haven't played a team with a good they haven't played anyone really good all year. I ask these questions because these things could actually happen. They could actually happen. But more than anything, Miami has to be ready to play. Miami has to go in there. They got here's what I don't want to see. Here's what I don't want to see. I don't want to see any heaters on the sideline. I don't want to see guys doing this shit with gloves on. I want to see dudes walk out shirtless in pregame. I want them to lather themselves the hell up. I want them to ignore cold. I don't want to see you with if Mario Cristobal better not have any heated benches on the sideline. I don't want to see heated benches on the sideline. Heated benches are for pussies. This is football. This is football. Heated benches are for pussies. It puts the cold in your brain. It makes you think about it. It makes these guys from South Florida, despite the fact we have a lot of guys from the North, we got a lot of guys that are not from South Florida who've played in cold weather before. Do not worry about the cold. No benches that are heated. It will. I don't want to see 38 degrees. I don't care if it's 30. Have you not walked out? You're playing football, man. You're playing football. I've walked out of my house not in my house. I was in Minnesota and it was 30 degrees. I walked out in shorts and a t-shirt. Again, stop being victims about referees, man. You're doing it too much. This is what I'm talking about when I talk about the mentality of blaming somebody else. Handle your business. Handle your business. I'm like Indiana Fever fans and Miami Hurricane fans really are like the same, always referees. It's never the team, it's never the coach, it's always the refs. If you're worried about referees, you're worried about the wrong thing. Worry about handling your business. Worry about giving Carson Beck time. Worry about calling the right plays. Worry about your defense dominating the game. Your defense has got to dominate the game. You've got to dominate the game, period. I can't watch Jadarian Turner run for 200 yards. Did you watch the Pitt Georgia Tech game? I need Ruben. Oh, there you go. I need Ruben Bain to be Ruben Bain for the first time in a month and a half. I need Ruben Bain to be Ruben Bain for the first time in a month and a half. I need Akeem Mesler to dominate. I need those guys to be disciplined on the stretch run plays because those are the plays that eat Miami alive. Those stretch runs where Miami loses their gap integrity, they lose their assignment, they lose their discipline. That's what happened last week, at least. Those stretch run plays are what beat us by Louisville with Isaac Brown. It's what gave us headaches a little bit against Virginia Tech, with the running game. They're not always double teaming Bain. I'm watching the game too. They're not double teaming Bain every play. Ruben Bain's discipline's been terrible. His discipline's been terrible. I don't have the answer to anything about Mario having a play sheet or whatever. And he's that coach. I'd have a play sheet. I mean, that's just me. I'd have a play sheet, but I mean, I can't speak on that. It's very, very simple. Defense has to dominate and play like it played against NC State, like it played against Florida, like it played against Florida State for 3 quarters, like it played against Notre Dame the first game. You go do that, you're gonna win easily. You're gonna win easily. Let Carson Beck cook. You can't call your game based on weather. You can't call the game based on the weather. Cold weather does not make you not throw the football. Cold weather does not make you not catch the football. The plays we've been running offensively have given us big gains. Throw the ball deep. Pittsburgh's defense is not very good. It's not very good. Another defense that I don't think is very good. I think Justin Scott's been fantastic, actually, of late. I think he's been really good. Blaze expected to play. Almost everyone's expected to play, just so you know. Frederick's expected to be back. Blaze expected to play. Who else? Bissaint will be fine. The Jacoby Thomas is good. You need to wrap up. You need to and look, man. Mason Heinschel, he's a good dude. He's good. Look what Notre Dame did to Pitt a few weeks ago was impressive. I give them credit. It was impressive. I was shocked at how easily they beat them on the road. I think Mason Heinschel is good, but you got to get to him. You got to pressure the shit out of him. You got to keep him contained in the pocket. I don't agree with you that no one wants to see Miami in the CFP. I disagree. In fact, I think that they want to see Miami in the CFP. I think most people want to see Miami in the CFP. Why? Because Miami brings ratings. Miami brings ratings. Why would the referees of the ACC not want to see an ACC team get in the the playoffs? Because the reality is this: if Miami doesn't go to the ACC championship, there will be at least one ACC team in there winning the championship, and Miami would be the second. You actually want the referees from the ACC want to have two teams in the CFP. The league wants it. I don't live my life blaming referees, guys. I don't live my life. You can't drop BYU for winning on the road against a ranked opponent. BYU's 9-1. They haven't put BYU actually. If you look at their look at who they played and the records of the teams that they played, they haven't played nobody. They have a win over Utah. They just beat Cincinnati on the road. I don't agree. Do I think Miami's better than BYU? Yes. They also only have one loss. They got the win. They got the win over Utah. I mean that win. They beat Arizona. Let me read you the records. Let's see here. Arizona is 8-3. Utah is 9-2. Iowa State is 7-4. Texas Tech they lost to. They're 10-1. TCU is 7-4. Cincinnati is 7-4. I mean, that's like saying that we lost to 7-4 and 8-3. Utah is garbage, and they're 9-2, and unfortunately, and we jumped them, by the way, because they gave up almost 500 yards rushing. We jumped them because they gave up almost 500 yards rushing. That's what happened. Do you think that JMU's a joke? JMU's is not in a real conference. Like, we can't make that comparison, but I mean, I know you want to. Do you believe that other teams find the ACC referees to be incompetent? Just a question. Do you believe that other teams find the ACC refs to be incompetent? I asked that question for a reason. Because they're not just I watched tons of football. I see issues in every game, in every stadium around the country. That's why I don't complain about it. That's why I don't worry about. That's why I don't focus on how many penalties got committed when you actually committed them more often than not. Look, I think the whole playoff system that allows, I think the whole playoff system that allows a G5 team in the playoffs not ranked in the top 12 is a joke. I think that's a joke. I think that's the bigger joke. You shouldn't have that. You shouldn't allow a team to be in the playoffs that is not playoff worthy. And if you are in the G5, there's a message to you. Go undefeated. You want to be ranked in the top 12, go undefeated. Go undefeated. Go undefeated. Undefeated, undefeated. If you lose a game, you have no business playing in the college football playoffs because the team that you probably lost to isn't very good. It's not a very good team. The way I saw the celebration for James Madison beating, was it Oregon State this past weekend? Or was it Washington State? It was one of those two teams. A 5-6 team acting like you did something, winning by 3 points or 4 points on your home field. You beat a bum. You beat a mediocre ass team. You got to go undefeated if you want to be a G5 team in the playoffs. The fact that they take G5 teams, USF had their chances. They pissed it away too. USF had it. They gave it away. And them losing those games pissed me off. To Memphis, to, what was the other one? Was the other one Navy? Well, it was Navy, right? You pissed it away. You're so much more. See, USF has so much more talent than Navy. It's embarrassing. To lose that game, you should be ashamed of yourselves. James Madison is not a good team, not a playoff worthy team. For purposes of this, they're not a playoff worthy team. It's ridiculous. It's insulting. James Madison's not going 10-1 in the Big 12. Not a chance. James Madison's not going 10-1 in the ACC. Not a chance. No chance. You want to know who James Madison's played this year out of the Sun Belt Conference? The Sun Belt. James Madison, their only loss was to Louisville, 28-14. They played Weber State, Liberty, Georgia Southern. They beat Georgia State 14-7. 14-7. Georgia State is 1-10. They beat Georgia State 14-7. And Georgia State is winless in the Sun Belt. They are 1-10. They beat Louisiana, 24-14. Louisiana's 5-6. They beat that was Washington State who they beat, 24-20. Do not tell me that this is some beast of a team. Do not tell me that. They're a good Sun Belt squad, and they lost the game to Louisville 28-14. I think James Madison has a very good football program. They are not a playoff team. Not with that. Not with that resume. Not with that schedule. Not with that. Not beating an 0-7 Sun Belt squad 14-7. That would be like Miami beating fucking Boston College right now 14-7. If you told me that Miami had BC on its schedule and won 14-7, I would tell you that was the worst win we've had in 15 years. 15 years. And if we had that type of game on our schedule, yeah. And Notre Dame beating BC 25-10 should be looked at. It should be examined as a point, a data point that you can play that fucking bad. They should be looking at that game very, very closely, beyond the fact that we beat them. But James Madison is not a college football playoff team. No way in hell. No way. Notre Dame beating Boston, and Notre Dame beating Boston College, let me tell you something. If it wasn't for that 94-yard touchdown run by Jeremiah Love against Boston College, they win that game 18-10. 18-10. James Madison will get his shit kicked in a playoff game by whoever if it happened. So that is, I don't like the playoffs for that purpose. the whole guarantee of a G5 school, you better be undefeated. But that's also why I believe that the playoffs should really be 16 teams. I've always felt that way. I have felt that way for 20 years. I have wanted a 16-team playoff for 20 years. The concept of a bye is ridiculous. Is ridiculous. It's silly. I'm at least glad that they changed it to just rank the top four rather than giving, the conference champion a top four billing. Like, I mean, look at last year. Look at last year. Boise State was the G5 team. G5 team. They were undefeated. I'm sorry, they were 12-1. They lost to Oregon 37-34 on the road. And they smacked everybody else. And they were ranked in the top 10. Well, they were ranked, what were they, fourth? Third or fourth when in the final rankings, they were ranked. Something like, they were ranked up there. Not exactly, I mean, you can't, yeah. Yeah. Let's open the phone lines. Does anyone have anything to say? I'm happy to get you on here. If you have anything to say, here's the link to the jump on. Love to have people on. Give your thoughts. But yeah, man. Let Carson Beck play. Let him cook. We have enough games out there this weekend that things I believe, will go the way that Miami needs it to go. But I think what Miami needs to be most focused about is beating the absolute tar out of Pitt. Beat the ever-living shit out of Pitt. You go beat Pitt 45-10, 45-17. Because the number is this, 37-15 at 22 points. 22. You go beat Pitt by more than 22 points in their home building in 35-degree weather. You made a statement. You did everything you could have done, needed to do to prove the point. And by this point, you will also have seen that the one area for which the committee made vocal comments about, when they were very, very clear. They were very, very clear. Miami's offense has been inconsistent. Well, you go beat somebody 45-10 or 45-17, and you've been watching them for the last 3 weeks. You have seen an offense that looks pretty good. Miami's offense against NC State looked good. Miami's offense against Virginia Tech, even though we only had 27, we had 34 points, it looked very good. It looked very good. We're not getting out of the ACC, so we can kill that noise. We're not going anywhere. The fact of the matter is the conferences being 18 and 20 teams and having these unbalanced schedules, you need to go back to having divisions. Like, you really need to go back to divisional play, because to have all these teams, like right now, who was in the coastal division with us? I don't remember who. Do y'all remember? Do y'all remember what the divisions? Who was in our division? Let me see. Let's go back to 22, 23. All right. So in our division, we had North Carolina, Pitt, Duke, Georgia Tech, Virginia, and Virginia Tech. So we would have had the opportunity to play Virginia and Georgia Tech this year. And yet this year, we didn't get to play them. They should be back in divisions. Miami's never moving to the SEC. It's never going to happen. I think the fact that Miami scored on the last play of the game tells you that they got tapped on the shoulder. You need to score. You got to remember also the possession. I mean, you got to remember also that Alex Bauman dropped a touchdown pass. That bum-ass tight end we got. He dropped a touchdown pass. I mean, I don't know what you want Carson Beck to do. He dropped a touchdown pass, and we had to punt on one because, well, you got, who was it that committed the damn penalty that pushed us all the way back behind the sticks? I mean, Miami realistically should have won at least 38 to 38 17 with the bombing play. But you only had 8 possessions. That's the problem. You keep running these 8-minute drives. If you don't score some points on defense, I mean, being real, punt return, defense, special teams defense. If you're running 8-minute drives, well, then you're not gonna have enough possessions to score 40 points. Oh no, we've got guys that drop balls that cost us games. So for every blame that you want to make on Mario, which I will blame him for a lot, I can't blame him when a guy drops a touchdown pass. Yeah, I know that happened. You know why the first one happened? Because Mario called timeout. That monkey fuck called timeout again. That monkey fucked us again with another bad timeout. Why are you calling timeout on 4th and 1 in the second quarter? What are you calling timeout on 4th and 1? It was the second quarter, right? Throwing a bomb because he's in the fucking game. I don't know what you want the man to do. The dude's wide open. When was that those 3 4th and 1s? Those 2, it was the 3 in a row. It was the second quarter, right? Or was it the first quarter? Let me see. I'm looking. Downs. Was it the third? No, it was the second quarter. Second quarter. His man burned a timeout. I see you in the background, Dub. I'm gonna bring you right in. This man burned a timeout in the first half on a 4th and 1. Well, the next one happened because they didn't actually review the freaking catch, which they should have done. So that's a massive screw up by the referees. But it doesn't happen if Mario doesn't waste the timeout on some dumb shit. It's the second quarter. Yeah, I'm reading it. I'm reading it. It's the second quarter. It was their drive of 8 plays and 17 yards where they ended up punting regardless. But he called a timeout on 4th and 1. Called the time, and then they had the replay on 4th and 1. I mean, this was in the freaking second quarter. I'm not lying. I'm literally reading it now. So it was in the second quarter. This man called the timeout on 4th and 1. Come on now. Let's see right here. Dub City, what's going on, baby?
Hey, what's going on?
What you got?
Yeah, I just want to say this. They need the first. I think they need to get rid of the preseason rankings
I
because
agree.
it messes up a lot of things when you have 10 when you trying to rank 10 SEC teams and then they play each other. All they do is make them flip flop and make it look like the conference is actually better than what it is. And I don't
Yeah,
agree with the whole trying to get all the big teams, a certain amount of Big Ten teams in and a certain amount of SEC teams in, and then everybody else got to fight for a spot. If you're gonna be fair all the way around, not only because they got the biggest TV contracts.
I agree. Let me ask you a
You,
question. If
uh,
you threw the because they say that the rankings that it doesn't they say I didn't say this, they said the CFP says their rules, it doesn't matter when you played somebody. So, but it seems like it's very clear that it does matter to them because
but
they
see,
said it doesn't. If you threw everyone's resume in a bag and you pull it out and you don't put anyone's team name on these resumes, is Miami a top 12 team in the top 10 team in the country just based on resume and who they've beaten and compared to who they've lost to when you compare it to the rest of these teams? Do you believe they're a top 10 team?
I think so because at least just being honest, I'm a Miami fan,
Yeah.
and I'm not gonna be biased, right?
Yeah.
Um, at least Miami didn't lose to a team that got a losing record.
Yeah.
So I actually look at that, and it's a couple teams, won Alabama, got the dog walked by Florida State.
Mm-hmm.
Like it don't matter, what happened after that. Florida State, you know what I mean, losing all them games or
Yeah.
whatever. But and another thing also, I don't think like teams like Vanderbilt, Missouri, they should never be. I honestly believe they should never be ranked especially like in the preseason. I don't think like Texas A&M actually doing good this year, but
Mm-hmm. Ain't play
if
nobody.
you actually look at it, every time a team actually join the SEC conference, they automatically get thrown in the top 25 at the beginning of every season.
Yeah.
Let me
Eh,
let,
I-
let me ask you a question real quick, right?
yes, sir.
Just like Missouri,
Mm-hmm.
how
Play
how
nobody.
many Missouri? I don't know how long they've been a school and all that stuff, but look in the last 30. I'm just gonna say 30 years. How many times have Missouri ever been ranked in the top 25? Beside when they joined the SEC conference,
I have no idea, man. And you know what? They're not ranked now. And that's
but
why Missouri is an absolute joke to me because again, another team that's getting this preferential SEC treatment, and they stayed ranked for a large majority of the season, and they're not ranked now. But if you go look at the standings in the SEC, Missouri right now is 3-4 in conference. They're actually behind LSU. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. They're 10th in conference, and yet they're ranked number 22 in the CFP last week. 10th
exactly.
in their conference. And they're ranked in the and their wins this year, their conference wins are against South Carolina, who sucks, Auburn, who fired their coach and sucks, and Mississippi State, who fired their coach and sucks. They lost to Oklahoma. They got whipped by A&M. They lost to Vanderbilt. They lost to Alabama. Their only wins this year: Central Arkansas, Kansas, Louisiana, South Carolina, UMass, Auburn, and Mississippi State. And this team is ranked in the top 25. It's embarrassing. It's embarrassing. And I see someone did say that they played in the SEC championship game the first 2 years. That's great. They're 7-4 right now, and they don't have a win over a team in they don't have a win over a team in Power Four now. Power Four with a winning record. They don't have a win over a team with a winning record, and they're ranked as of last week number 22 in the CFP. I mean,
But but
and yet,
see,
yet Oklahoma will get credit for beating that team that hasn't beaten anyone this year.
yeah, they do it. They do it every year.
Yep.
Every year, and and also the media got everybody thinking the SEC conference is so great. If you
Mm-hmm.
actually look at the records when SEC teams play other conferences, a lot of times it's like 50-50 have a loser
Yeah.
records against other conferences.
Yeah.
So why do they get the privilege of okay, well, we the best conference? No, you're really not.
You know what? You get enough people paid on the payroll, like Paul Feinbaum and other people on ESPN who are all payrolled. They're all payrolled.
Yeah,
They're all getting
yeah,
paid off by this to say shit about the SEC, to gaslight and blow up the SEC, and then also say how bad the ACC is. I mean, even Hurricane fans do it. Even Hurricane fans notoriously say the ACC sucks. Well, you're not helping. When you
yeah.
yell that the ACC sucks all the time and you're a Hurricane fan, well, you're actually hurting the cause. It's like the idiots that go to a game, and I call them idiots because let's say we're Miami, right? And we're ranked 10th. Just throwing it out there. I'm just throwing out whatever number. We're
All
ranked
right.
10th. And we're playing Ohio State at home, ranked number 1. And we win. And we have the morons in the crowd yelling, overrated. No, they're not. Don't do that. You literally just demeaned and devalued your win over the number 1 team in America. Like, that's
Yeah,
stupid. And every time I hear fans yell overrated to a team ranked way ahead of them or ranked in the top 5 or whatever, and you beat them, you just devalued everything those guys on the field just went through. It's the stupidest thing ever. And it goes the same way with how I'm listening to Canes fans for 6 weeks saying, or 5 weeks, the season's over. We suck. We're trash. Everyone's garbage. Like, I don't have to like Mario Cristobal. I'm not a fan. I was a big fan 20 years ago when I was hoping he'd be our first head coach, instead of Randy Shannon. I would have been wrong then, and I'm wrong now. The man can recruit. He's always been good at that. In-game coaching, not so good. In fact, close to terrible. But I'm also not going to demean the program to the point where it's like these people read this shit. They hear. If I'm on the committee, I'm like, man, those fans really think they suck. They must suck. They must suck because no one in Alabama is saying the season's over because they lost the second game. No one in freaking Texas at Texas was saying season's over when they lost to Florida. Nobody was doing that. But in Miami, you lose to which now is an 8-3 SMU team on the road. Yes, we should have won. We should have won. Our own fault. But SMU doesn't suck. They don't suck.
Yeah, it's one of them things where cause I look at it like this. They when a new team come into a conference, they win. Because I seen somebody say something about Missouri played in the SEC championship, in the first 2 years or whatever. But then what happened after that? It's like anytime a new team come in the conference or whatever, the other teams are not used to that team, and stuff like that. So it's more about game planning. So it takes a couple of years to really figure out, okay, this is how they're gonna do. This is exactly what they gonna do. Now let's stop it. And that's why they go down here after that. And also, in order for a conference to be great, you will have different SEC champions every year. Just because Alabama dominated for the last 17 years, right?
Yeah, pretty much.
Georgia just literally start winning. So everybody in the SEC conference is riding Alabama coattail. That don't mean the conference was good. That just means Alabama was good.
Yeah.
So people, so people need to understand that, because once again, you will have 4, 5, 6 teams winning the SEC championship each year if the whole conference was actually good and not just 1 or 2 teams. And that's what I try to tell everybody. It's not that the conference is so great. You got 1 or 2 teams, maybe 3 in every conference that's, I'm gonna say that's really good, and everybody else is just, okay.
Yeah. Listen to this. I appreciate you, man. I'm gonna drop you off now for someone else who wants to jump in, man. Thank you, Dub City.
All right, no problem, bro.
Appreciate you, bro.
All right, take it easy.
So, folks, I'm gonna give you another example. Ole Miss. Ole Miss is 10-1, and I'll sit here and I'll say I think Ole Miss is a good team. Ole Miss this season, Ole Miss. They've played Kentucky. They're 2-6 in the SEC. They've played Arkansas, 0-7. They played Tulane, non-conference. They played LSU, 3-4 in conference, who at the time was ranked 4th. But we all knew that LSU wasn't worth shit because if you watched, you knew it. They beat Washington State 24-21. They lost to Georgia. They beat Oklahoma on the road. That's their one good win. That's their one good win on the road at Oklahoma. They beat South Carolina, who's 1-7 in conference. They beat Florida, who's 2-6. And if you watch that Florida game, they were losing in the fourth quarter to Florida. Losing. At home, no less, to Florida. And they played the Citadel, and they finished their season against Mississippi State 1-6 in conference. That is what you get. SEC right there. That's a top 10 team, largely top 10, because they played abso-fucking-lutely nobody. Nobody. Just for shits and giggles? Okay. Georgia has wins, so they're okay. Oklahoma. They lost to Ole Miss. They beat Tennessee. Tennessee is a team that also hasn't beaten anybody, but was ranked 14th despite not beating anybody. They beat Alabama. We all saw that game. They beat Missouri. I mean, they've played ranked teams, but again, they didn't play Georgia. They didn't play Texas A&M. They got their ass kicked by Texas. See, I don't just look at wins. I look at how bad you lost. You lost by 17. BYU, you lost by 22. Utah, you got drop kicked by 24 on your home field. Look, I would love to get to the ACC championship. It would be cool. It would be although it wouldn't guarantee anything because we have to win the game. Texas lost to Florida. Like this is what I'm talking about. And this is what, end of the day, people, I get why you're pissed. I get why you're upset. I get all these things. But understand that right now we got a week left and we got to make sure that this team wins. We can't help them. They got to help themselves. They got to come out there with a focus and a desire and a passion to absolutely put their face masks through the chest of every Pitt player. I mean, I'm talking about, and I'll keep it real with you because I'm old school. Y'all remember the movie? And I don't even know if it's what actually happened. I think it actually is what happened. But you remember the movie Glory Road? If anyone remembers the movie Glory Road about Texas Western, how they won the national championship over Kentucky, the first all black 5 starters in the national championship. And they told the guy the first play to dunk the ball on his head. Like, I want you to put his head through the rim type of thing and set the tone. And that actually, if you read up on it, I believe that play did happen in the first play. They dunked the ball through, he smashed it. And I'm 47 also. So, and he smashed it. And Pat Riley was quoted about this saying, yeah, we were petrified of these guys. We knew we had no shot when we knew we had no shot like that. And this is Kentucky team was, these guys were back there every year type thing. So it did happen. I remember it was a dunk that started the game and it set the tone and it was basically the ball game. Old school football. And I would sacrifice somebody for this. I wouldn't even have a problem doing it. I would absolutely light Mason Heinchel the fuck up. I would light him up. Old school, you don't get ejected. I would find a way to light his ass up so hard early on that I would be willing to risk a 15-yard penalty to put the fear of God into him. I'm serious. I want a face mask right in his sternum. Or from behind, I want one of them blows to the ribs. I think Cal can beat SMU, actually. I do. Cal just beat Louisville at Louisville. I mean, this game is at Cal. It is not an easy. We know very well that winning at Cal ain't easy. They just fired their coach. Their quarterback is pretty damn good. I think they have a chance. But I would tell you this. I want to see a Miami defensive lineman put their helmet through Mason Heinchel's soul and set the tone on the first possession of the game. It could be Heinchel. It could be Jadarian Turner, the running back. It could be anybody. But Heinchel is the guy. VTech could beat Virginia. I do think they could beat them too. There's no one that's so good in this in any. The nation this year is so just here. There's nobody here. There's nobody here. I think NIL really, really has changed. My head's starting to sweat. NIL's really started to change how everything works in college football. It's really evened out the playing field that Alabama can no longer, stockpile a third string 5-star defensive tackle. You know, they can't stockpile them anymore because those guys now want to get paid. They want to get broke off. They want money. They see it somewhere else. They're going to transfer after 1 year. I mean, I might consider the guy at Cal over CJ Bailey right now. I'm gonna be real. I'm just being honest. The last 2 weeks of CJ Bailey, the way he played against Florida State was pretty horrendous. It was pretty horrendous. You know, I don't know. I would love to see. I don't. I'm not too fond of CJ Bailey right now. I did a video that I dropped today, and if you gave me the option of Levitt or CJ Bailey, I'm going with Levitt. I'm going with Levitt. The guy at Cal's good. He's a freshman. I mean, he's a freshman. So it's like, again, a guy that you're definitely going to have for 2 years. You're definitely going to have him for 2 years. I think, and Levitt is going to be a junior. You could legitimately have him for 2 years unless he turns pro. So Alabama had been paying. And that's once Saban left, it was because they were evening the playing field. He didn't like it. His advantage was gone. And now he doesn't have three rows of defensive linemen that are all 5-star. CJ Bailey's not a true freshman. CJ Bailey's a sophomore. He's in his second year at NC State. He's in his second year. He's not a freshman. Yeah, you don't have those 3 deep 5-star defensive linemen, and that made the difference. So even last year, I didn't think there was a massive difference between Ohio State and everybody else. They lost 2 games. They lost to a 500 Michigan team. They lost to a 500 Michigan team. And people forgot about it. They didn't even play in their conference title game. People forgot about it. So even like this year, I don't think Ohio State's that much better than everybody else. They ain't played anybody else to really show us if they're that much better than everybody else. And yeah, against CJ Bailey looked okay against Virginia. He looked pretty good against in a few games. These last 2 weeks, man, he has looked absolutely horrendous. And I don't know if the Miami game really messed with his confidence or shook him up. But if you watch the Florida State game, he looked like trash. That game was 14-11 in the fourth quarter. He couldn't move the ball. They punted. The punt landed on an FSU player's helmet, and NC State recovered it at midfield. Got the ball again, couldn't move the ball again. They punted again, and this time the FSU punt returner muffed the punt, and NC State recovers at the 10 or 15-yard line, and they score on 4th down. On 4th down. And the tight end caught the ball. It was a good throw, but the tight end really did a box out job that our tight ends can't do. FSU's D-line ain't that good. No, they're not. No, their D-line's not good. No, it's not. It might be the worst part of their defense. Anything is everything. FSU D-line stinks. That D-line gets no pass rush. This is from FSU guys. Their D-line is not good. They got a freshman starting because they're so not good on the D-line. Again, I could see it all. I could see it all playing out. Miami end up in the ACC championship. They're not. You just said they're good. They're not good. If you want to say they're decent, okay, I'll give you decent. FSU fans that I'm friends with, and I know a lot of them, they think their D-line stinks. They get no pass rush. Going into our game, they had 2 sacks like in the first 5 games from the D-line. They couldn't get to the quarterback. Here's the thing. If Miami does get to the ACC championship, they better not fuck it up. Yo, if they get to the ACC championship and everything works itself out, they better not fuck it up. You better not blow it. You better not get that opportunity and then go lose to Virginia or SMU. You better not. You better not. I would love to play SMU again, by the way. I think if mine plays SMU again, we destroy them because I think you're gonna. I do believe that we've seen a little bit this different the difference in from that game to now and just the not playing scared offensively a little less opening it up more. We already know that they're not going to run the ball on us. They can't. Their running game is trash. They can't run the ball on us. We know this. We know how the only way they can do anything is with Jennings. But I also think that we would attack their ass down the field. I think we would attack their ass down the field. Gerard Pringle is a massive difference. By the way, please, Mario, for the love of God, do not be having Mark Fletcher out there for half the game again. You got, I mean, please, man. I love Mark Fletcher, man. I think he's a great kid. I love the dude. He's a great stand-up guy. Dude, Gerard Pringle's better than him. Gerard Pringle's better than him. He hits the hole hard. He's fast. We didn't use him enough against Virginia Tech. He sat. I mean, you see the wheel route that we go for a touchdown on. You think Mark Fletcher could run that play? No. Yeah, Mark Fletcher caught a touchdown pass, a 3-yarder or whatever it was, 5 yards. Mark Fletcher's not running a wheel route for a touchdown. Pringle's a special kind of dude, man. You got to play him. You can't mess with that. Like, seriously, for real now. For real. You can't mess with that. He needs to be the starter. He needs to be the one getting the majority of the reps in this game. You want to put Mark Fletcher in there for short yardage situations? Fine, by all means. You want to put him in some obvious passing downs because you want to hold him in the block? I'm cool with that. He better not be in there for entire possessions, and then our offense turns into sludge. Like, our offense turns into sludge. And what I mean by sludge, I mean that the pace just completely slows. The pace just stops. I was reading the comment there. You can't run it where your pace is just stopping. And that's what happened a lot with Fletcher on the field. It did. It just is what it is. It is what it is. It's what happened. Pringle got in this game 14 carries, 49 yards. He wasn't used enough. They didn't move him to the edge enough. But like if you look at the play sheet, you look at this play sheet when they went up 14-3, Mark Fletcher's in the game for half the possession. He's the one that he caught the touchdown pass, but he wasn't like if you look at it right here, 5-yard pass to Tony, 4-yard run by Pringle, Tony with a 6-yard catch, 22-yard catch by Tony, 4-yard run by Pringle. So this starts at 6:18 to 3:45. It took us almost 3 minutes, 2.5 minutes to go, 2.5 minutes to move the ball 37 yards. I'm being real right here. You don't have to run the flipping play clock down to 0 every single play. They run the play clock down to damn near nothing on almost every play. And that's a coaching philosophy. That is where you get these sludgy, slow games where you have so few possessions because you're literally running the clock all the way down on every play. That's a bad idea. But after that, they put Fletcher in the game. And they went Malachi Tony for a 0 rush, Fletcher 3-yard rush, 11-yard pass to Tony, Beck for 3, Beck for 6, Fletcher for 3, pass to Tony for 2, Fletcher for 3. Like we're going in 3, 3, 2, 3. I mean, dude, we ran off 8 freaking minutes. 8:28. You brought the game to a halt. You're bringing the game to a halt. But we don't have trenches like that. That's the problem. I got Jay in the building. Let me bring Jay on. Jay, what's going on?
What's going on, man? I see you up there talking some real shit, so I had to call in real quick, man.
I appreciate that, man. What do you got? What are your thoughts of this week and all and what we're talking about here?
Um, my cousin played for UM. My cousin played for Miami. DeAndre Wilder. He had number 11. He had an injury, so he wasn't able to play anymore. I've
Mm-hmm.
been at the practices. I know how UM is. But we beat Pitt. The thing I don't understand is that these freshmen balling, and
Yeah,
I felt like Mario took too long to put the best players on the field.
yeah,
And the season could have went way better if your best personnel was always on the field, right?
I agree.
I understand what you're saying. Ruben Bain, if somebody's double teaming Ruben Bain, that means free ups for other people one on one to get. You know what I'm saying? To get so
Yes.
double teaming Ruben Bain, Mesidor could eat, Lightfoot could eat, Blunt could eat. There's no excuses. Um, After the FSU win, I don't know what happened, and I look back and I say I don't know how you lose to Louisville. I don't know how you lose to SMU. And I can't dwell in the past, but it's like I know this team is better than those losses, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And it's like I always ask myself, I will go back to that Notre Dame game, and that defense was just relentless attacking the ball.
Yes.
What happened? Like I don't know. Like, did they just take a break? Did they get comfortable? Did they just feel like they already made it? Like, what? At a point in time, we was ranked number 2 in the nation.
Mm-hmm.
What happened? You get what I'm saying?
Yeah. No, I mean, I got an opinion on that. My opinion on it is that when Mario turned off the offense, can you mute the stuff in the back?
Yeah, yeah, I got
Yeah,
you.
mute for a second. When Mario turned off the offense in the Florida State game, it's 28-3, and he turns them off. You can't just turn people on and off. And I think that was a mental thing there. You kind of showed your team that you didn't really believe in them. That's my opinion. Because when you're up 28-3, you're kicking someone's ass. You're dog walking them. Why in the world would you be afraid to put them away? I'd be looking to put their asses away. And instead, he went the opposite direction. He turned the offense off. He also kind of turned the defense off. And next thing you know, we have a football game where we're literally sitting from possibly losing if it's on an
I
onside
said,
kick.
I said the same thing, and I said there's a couple things that I noticed about Mario. He is stubborn, and he likes his own way. And
Yes.
Nick Saban said on the ESPN College Game Day that he had to reevaluate because college football wasn't going into this pound shit every time.
Hmm.
You gotta, I'm saying, you gotta transition. You
Yes.
have a bunch of 4 and 3. You recruit well. You got
Hmm.
a bunch of receivers from South Florida who know how to get open. Get them in a rhythm. Get the 4 receivers set and let's get this ball game going. You had Pringle on the bench. Why was Pringle on the bench? Get your best players on the field. I don't care about favoritism. I don't care about transfers. I don't care about that. You perform in practice, you play the game, you get on the field. Let Shannon Dawson be the offensive coordinator. Stop holding people hands.
Hmm.
Stop letting people I'm tired of it. I know how Miami football is supposed to look, dog. You can't have 4 top 10 recruiting class for 4 years and don't got nothing to show for it.
We've had
SMU,
we've had 20 years of top 15 classes
right?
and been losing to
SMU,
teams like Pitt and Boston College and Georgia Tech for 20
SM,
years.
SMU just got in here what 2 years ago and last
Yeah.
year went to the that's embarrassing. That's embarrassing.
Hmm.
That's embarrassing that we're hoping for other teams to lose so we can get in. Are you
Yeah.
serious? This is where it got to?
I've said for quite some time there's a lack of accountability within the program.
Come
The lack
on,
of
man.
accountability starts with him. And just to respond to one of the comments up there, when I say we don't have trenches, I mean our offensive line, while it's really good, is not a great run block offensive line.
It's not.
If you're running 5 against 8, there's going to be people that are unblocked, which is why you can't just run pounding into the back of a line. You have to run on the outside. You have to change it up. You have to misdirection, counter, toss, end around.
He doesn't believe in
And
that.
he doesn't do it. And they only started doing it in the last 2 games
Yeah.
after Shannon Dawson was condescending as hell to the media,
Mm-hmm.
like, I'm smarter than y'all. Well, clearly you're not, because we all see it.
Mm-hmm.
You didn't do it until you put Pringle in, and then he blows the hell up in back-to-back games. And then you kind of sat him last week again for half the game for Fletcher. You went backward because Fletcher's liked. I love Fletcher.
Yeah, I
He's
like
not an
Fletcher
every
too.
down back. He's not an every down.
I don't understand. You have a bunch of Hellcats, Lambos on the depth chart and don't want to use them. You
Mhm.
got Ray, who's Ray is fat. I've been watching Ray since he was at Edison. Why is he not in the jet suite?
I know
I don't
that.
understand that. You
I
had
can't
Chris
understand.
Johnson last year. Why is he not in the jet suite? Why it took JoJo so long to get on the field? Why you not giving Josh Moore jump balls
I've heard
when
about. I've heard JoJo's story a little bit more. It's not.
no,
I
no,
think.
he
Yeah.
is, but the thing about listen, it's a lot of things I could say. I really don't want to say on here because I know a lot was going on. But just know it's more than what it is while JoJo wasn't playing.
No, I know
I'm a,
why he
I,
wasn't playing.
you
I
know what I'm
know why he
saying?
wasn't playing.
And you target Malachi Tony so much and CJ Daniels, dog. I promise to God, it's so much times I'm watching them. They're doing single coverage. Give Josh Moore a jump ball for
Can,
God's
can,
sake, bro.
can I give you this though? When
Go ahead.
JoJo Trader drops what would have been potentially a touchdown pass,
Yeah, I respect it.
it doesn't help him. And then a week
No,
later, he drops another. He drops a crosser that would have
no,
gone
but
for
but
50
hold on
yards.
though. But hold on though. I'm gonna tell you something. When Ryan Williams dropped that wide open bomb in Alabama game, I forgot who they play. What they keep doing, they keep playing him. You don't take a
But
player out.
when was this for Ryan Williams? Was this the beginning of the
This was
season
this
last
year. It
year?
was this
Okay,
year.
but that's different because Ryan Williams was a star last year.
Hold on,
JoJo
hold on,
Trader has not
hold
been
on. Wait,
anything so far.
I'm hold on. I'm gonna give you an example. You're teaching your kid how to ride a bike, right?
Yeah,
Just because you fall off the bike, you're gonna take the bike away, or you're gonna keep
no,
telling it you got to get
but
back on.
I,
He dropped the pass. I get it. He dropped the pass. It's football. I get it. You know what I'm saying? I understand it. But what you expect? He haven't got on the field.
well, I I don't live by that. You didn't play, so you drop passes.
No, of course not.
You're a wide receiver, and all I'm saying is this: the Ryan Williams comparison. He had been a star for a year. If JoJo Trader had been a star for a year, no one's saying a word.
Right,
And look, I want the kid to be successful,
right.
but that play largely changed that entire game.
No, you're right.
It
You're right.
changed that game because he the way I see it, his asshole tightened up when he saw that safety coming. And the reality was, if he caught that ball, he might have scored a touchdown.
He was
Definitely had
gonna
a
score. He was
because he
gonna
would have
score.
cut right back. He could have cut right back in. DB would have gone right by him.
Right,
He's gone. Then he dropped the crosser a week later that would have gone
right,
for 40 or 50 yards.
right,
So it's like now I want the kid to play. I also
right.
don't know why we're going in signing guys like Tony Johnson. Like, why are you doing that? It makes no
I
sense.
don't know. I
I
don't.
and while Keelan Marion has been really good
Facts.
of late,
Right.
you signed him as a kick returner
Critter
who
returner.
doesn't return kicks.
Yeah. You're not using these people for what they're really good at. Right.
I would line up Malachi Tony and Keelan Marion both in punt because now they're kicking away from Malachi Tony, or they're kicking it low, or they're doing things to make him not have the ability to
Right.
return it. Well, go ahead and do that when you got two guys back there. I'll take my chances.
But why
Um,
Ray Ray's not on the field? Just out
I
of quick
I don't
curiosity.
know. I don't know. I I don't know. I can't. I'm very critical of coaches, of these coaches. I'm very critical of them. I will call everything out. I don't know enough in that. I know what happened in JoJo's situation.
Right.
I know. I mean, I don't know if people know about it. I you
Right.
know about it.
Yeah.
He dug himself a hole.
Yeah,
He
he
didn't
did.
help himself.
No, he didn't.
So these kids, and I do with the quotation marks kids. Y'all motherfuckers are getting paid a lot of goddamn
Exactly.
money.
Yeah.
You don't fuck around like that.
Yeah.
You gotta act like a professional.
Mm-hmm.
And if you don't, then you're gonna be sitting on the bench.
Nah,
Because
yeah,
because
you
one of
right.
those guys got thrown out of school.
Yeah.
One of those guys got tossed out of school, and he didn't. So because he
Yeah, I know
hadn't,
exactly who that is
so,
too.
yeah. So and anyone wants to look it up who left the school early this year, you can look it up, you can figure it out.
Right.
But but this is an accountability thing, and I think the biggest problem is that Mario himself is not accountable for his own fuck ups, and that's what
No,
drives me
he's not.
crazy.
He's
If
not.
you're because Dawson wasn't accountable,
Mm-hmm.
Mario's not accountable, and then on top of that, to me it was like they didn't trust these guys. Like you're against Notre Dame, you're up 21-7. Finish them. Was 24-10. Finish them.
Mm-hmm.
No, we're gonna
Play
try to
conservative.
ice the clock out
Yeah.
and run clock.
Yeah.
That's like playing prevent defense. You prevent
Yeah.
yourself from winning.
Yeah.
And yeah, bro.
How do you feel? Because I know we could beat Pitt, but what do you think is gonna give us problems with Pitt? Like, what's your major concern? I know we could, but what is the one thing if it was supposed to go left?
The stretch run, those stretch runs that they go side to side.
Yeah,
It's more than Mason Heinzel. It's the running. It's Jadarian Turner. Specifically, what I saw against Georgia Tech. I don't know if you watched the game or not.
I did.
They were doing them stretch like those sweeps type of runs
Right.
where he wasn't really running in between tackles, but every time he stretched it, he found a hole. Like, I mean, there was a couple, but he found like we have struggled against the Isaac Brown where everything's being stretched wide.
Man,
We're
I don't
losing our
even.
we're losing our gap integrity. We're losing the assignments, and those guys are the ones that hurt us. Virginia Tech, they did the same shit.
Yeah, they
The
did.
first play of the game,
Mm-hmm.
the first play of the game, we don't even keep the damn free. What was it? Was it Xavier Lucas?
But I
Doesn't
don't.
even
But
keep
but
the
I
contain
don't.
as a cornerback. The dude gets around him at corner,
But
and
I
you're
don't. I
like,
don't. I don't know. But how that keep happening? That's what I don't understand. Are you not going back to filming and what? Like, how is that keep happening? Like, I don't get it. Are you purposely just not reading before you fill a gap? Like, I don't get it.
I
I don't
I don't
understand it.
either.
I mean, Louisville ran hurry up offense though, and I know what OJ comes back, but for God's sake, play Damari, because when
I
OJ
don't know.
plays sometimes,
I don't know that OJ's the guy either. So I agree with you. Go ahead.
OJ sometimes, bro, it's like Lace. Was it Lacey? No, Chris Bell just did the same route over and over, and I'm like, bro. Like, oh my God,
He ran
dog.
a crossing route the whole game.
The whole game. And I'm like, bro, I'm like, OJ, are you gonna put at me? I think O'Connor is so underrated. He is so
Uh-huh.
underrated, but he's to me, Damari, you gotta start Damari. You gotta start Damari. I like Lucas, I like Fitzgerald, but I don't want Fitzgerald in the slot. I know they trying to use him for Keontae. I don't want him in the slot. I don't want I like Bobby Pruitt out there. I like Pruitt out there. Pruitt bring that physicality.
You need to keep
But
his hands below the face mask.
right, right. But I don't want Fitzgerald in the slot. I don't want him in the slot. I feel like this game, UM has a chance to get at least 2 to 3 interceptions because the Hernshire likes to throw passes a lot. And you could get 2 to 3 interceptions in the back end. I
You,
feel like Zachariah Poyser has been playing better. I feel like Fitzgerald is playing better. We get Jacoby Thomas back. I feel like Justin Scott has arrived.
he's been great the last few weeks.
Justin Scott has arrived. Wesley Bissent has came a long way. Wesley Bissent came a long way.
Wesley.
I know, but listen to me. Would you rather have Wesley or Torrey? Because sometimes Torrey don't know
Well,
what is he doing.
there are some times where I don't want either one of them dudes. There's sometimes where I don't want Torre. There's sometimes when I'm watching Wesley Bissainthe trying to be a missile, and instead of wrapping up, he hits
Right.
someone, and
Yeah.
the guy bounces off of him. I mean, that happened against Virginia Tech. He literally went to go hit the quarterback rather than wrap up the
Mm-hmm.
quarterback, and QB
Mm-hmm.
bounces off him and keeps going. You're like, bro, wrap up. It was like all the wrapping up we did against
Yeah.
NC State, we didn't do against Virginia Tech. The
Nah.
swarming was gone. The pursuit was gone. Everything wasn't there. It was like one on one, and then you missed the tackle. And yet they still rather dominated the game. You know, like
Do
people
you
get mad about it. They still dominated the game. If you watched it, you know this game was never close.
if and I got two last points and then I,
Yeah,
I gotta go because
yeah.
I got class tomorrow.
I appreciate you, man.
Um Do you feel like on offense they target Tony too depend on Tony too much?
Absolutely. But it, early on, you could see it was starting to be a problem
Right.
because our wonderful coordinator and our idiot head coach were not designing plays to
Right.
get him the ball.
Right.
When I'm listening to Dawson say, "Well, they're going to be bracketing him. They're making it harder to get him the ball." Okay, so when Randy Moss got double teamed, did you not throw the ball to Randy Moss? And I'm not saying that Malachi Tony's Randy Moss,
Right.
but when great players get double teamed, you have to figure out ways to get great players the ball. That's your
Correct.
job as a coach, which
Right.
means put him in wildcat once in a while,
Right.
change it up, get him on the sweeps around, get him on the pat. He got 146 yards receiving, and they all weren't short passes.
Right.
They finally moved him in the seam. They had him doing crossers. He was doing a lot of different things that we did not see early on this year. Early this year, it was throw him a swing pass and go.
Yeah, I noticed they don't even do them little side passes anymore like
They
that.
didn't
They did away with them little screen bullshit
to
passes
him
because it was
because you
yes.
knew it was coming.
Right. It was like telegraph it.
It was
Okay, here we
obvious.
go. Yeah.
Every time he did
Last
a bunch formation with Tony behind
yes,
him, it was
yes,
a swing pass.
yes,
And if you
yes.
miss the block, the
It's a
play's
wrap. The
dead.
play's blown up. The play's blown up.
Yeah.
The last thing I'm gonna say is this.
But now I would tell you this. Tony needs to touch the ball 15 times a game.
It's just I see the thing about it is I respect it, but then it's like if you play it, let's just say hypothetically, you play a good team in the playoffs, right? I want other receivers to step up,
Of course.
but I need to see it now.
Well, I mean,
You, you get what
we
I'm
may not
saying?
get there. We may not get to that point.
Right. But if you
when you,
play Pitt, and Pitt say,
yeah.
you know what? I'm gonna have one safety over the top beside Tony, and I'm gonna play man. No cornerback in any NCAA right now could stick Tony man to man, right?
Nobody.
But
No.
let's just say they bracket him, right? I want to see CJ Daniel get his. I want to see Upshot get. I need you to spread the ball.
Well, you can still
Spread
you.
the
I get
ball.
what you're saying. You can still bracket him, and they can still run plays that get him open. Like
Right.
those crossing routes with Tony are devastating. The guy doesn't
Yeah,
get
they are.
tackled. He doesn't get tackled. Like you, I've never seen a guy make a 3 yard play look so spectacular.
And he doesn't
He's
drop passes either.
he don't drop balls. I mean, the only one he dropped this year that I can remember that didn't call it a drop was the first pass he got thrown by Beck against
Right.
Florida State. That was great coverage, but that ball landed right between his arms, and people ignored that one. I mean, that was an amazing throw by
I've
Beck.
been watching Tony since he was at
But
American Heritage. I
I would
knew he was a dog.
the kid like you got to find a way to get him the ball. Now
Facts.
they should have been working on other things early this year. I said earlier this year, and I said it a few times. If I give you a a revolver with 6 bullets, but I only put 2 bullets in the fucking revolver, what am I doing to you?
Right.
I'm limiting you. So what
Yeah.
they've been doing all year, every time you put Alex Bauman in the game,
Don't get me started
you
on him,
just took
please,
one of my bullets away.
please, please,
And then when
please.
you run Bauman and Elijah Lofton at the same time, I've got no bullets in my gun. And what you've done to me when I could put 4 wide receivers out there with a running back, you took away my bullets. And that's a problem.
Don't
And
forget
every
about
time
the
they do,
center. Don't forget about that center, please, please don't.
but he's not a weapon. I'm talking about
Yeah,
weapons.
but
You taking
he,
away weapons. And hey, you know what? The biggest block of the year was by that center.
yeah,
And I know
I
he
know.
hasn't been great, but he blew that dude up in that freaking NC State game.
I
He
don't,
blew him up.
I don't know what the like, dog. The committee, like, this is my question, and this is what I wanted to ask. Right,
Mm-hmm.
we beat Pitt. Let's just say the score is we beat Pitt by 17.
Mm-hmm.
Right, Miami's the highest ranked ACC team. Right, hypothetically speaking, Virginia beat Virginia Tech and Cal lose to SMU, right? Does the ACC team who goes to the ACC championship who wins get in, or Miami gets in over them?
No,
That's what I'm not.
the winner of the ACC championship, if it's not Miami, will be the 11. That's
Oh,
why Miami has to be at least number 10. That's why Miami jumping to number 10 next week
right.
is critical because if they don't, then there is a real possibility that they will find themselves out.
You think there's a chance we jump to 10?
Yeah, I do believe it because I think if you go out there and you beat Pitt's ass, this is now your fourth ranked win. It's a
Right.
road win against a team that's ranked. Like we can't play this game where it's not a ranked win. Well, if you go look at everyone else's schedule,
Right.
Oregon, go look at who the hell Oregon's beat. They don't have a ranked win until this past week against USC because they ain't played shit
Yeah.
nobody this year. And they can still lose to Washington, by the way. I think Washington can beat
Right.
them this weekend. So that's why I say like we gotta not be like there's a lot of opportunity. I think if
Right.
Oregon loses again, they're done. I think they drop out.
I'm hoping Oklahoma is so
I hope
trash.
Oklahoma
Oh
loses.
my
I hope Bama
god.
loses. I hope they all lose to make it real simple. But
Hawaii
yes,
State's schedule was so easy. Oh,
they're soft.
I'm
They're
like, bro,
soft.
you guys might as well give them the natty now. They
Well,
didn't play anybody.
they got to beat real teams to win it, and I don't know that they're gonna. I mean, I don't know. We'll see what happens. But if Miami, if Miami's not in the ACC championship, yes, SMU could legitimately be in the playoffs as a
Right.
number 11, or Virginia, or even Duke,
Oh my god.
and that's embarrassing.
Not Manny Diaz, bro.
He legitimately, if they beat Wake Forest,
Right.
they could actually make the ACC championship game.
So just win at large
We need Duke to
Saturday.
lose as well. For whatever reason. I don't know why specifically, but I've read in multiple sites we need Duke to lose. So and Duke could lose to Wake Forest. Wake Forest is 8-3.
Yeah, Wake
So
Forest is a solid team.
yeah, they should beat Duke. But
Right.
the fact that Duke could be in the ACC championship just is an
It's
embarrassment. They
yeah,
lost they lost to UConn,
I saw that game.
and so yeah, at the end of the day, like yeah, Miami could get to number 10. I do believe. See, one of the things that the committee also said was
Who's that 10 now? Who's that 10 now?
Alabama. Or is it? It's Alabama. Notre Dame's at 9 and Bama's at 10. So if Miami gets to 11,
Right.
that's when they have to do their thing of comparing Notre Dame to Miami. They're no longer given the
Oh,
option to not compare them because
right.
the way they say that they rank teams, which is also why the whole ranking thing is stupid,
Mm-hmm.
is they take sections of teams and compare them to each other. So they
Mm.
take Ohio State, Indiana, Texas A&M. They compare them to each other and then they rank them. Then they take the next four teams and they compare them to each other. And then finally, and Notre Dame is in that comparison probably. Then they get to us. Oh, we're not compared with Notre Dame, so that head-to-head doesn't matter. That's their bullshit excuse. But they also said Miami gets closer to Notre Dame, we will be comparing them. And that head to head, their words, the head to head game has significant premium value. So if you're comparing us to Notre Dame, we're going to be ranked ahead of Notre Dame. I
Right.
do believe that. I mean, you said it. And if they don't, it would look utterly embarrassing. By the way, it would look embarrassing if they don't consider it. I do believe Miami will get to number 10. I do hope some of these other teams lose to make it simple. I would
Notre
I would
Dame
hope that
play a whole
I would
bunch
hope
of
to get to the ACC championship just because to cover our ass. But knowing us, we'd probably lose the ACC championship. You know, knowing us, I mean, we'd find a way to fuck it up.
Yeah.
And that's where it would be like my jaded self
We
is speaking
almost
now.
fucked up the Virginia Tech game at the
But
last
listen right
couple
here,
minutes.
they're talking right now for people here. There's on the chat. I appreciate y'all being here. They're talking about expanding the college football playoff
Right.
to a 24 team format.
What?
Under the new 6-year agreement, which begins in 2026, which is next year, the Big Ten and SEC have the bulk of control over the future format, something the other commissioners at Notre Dame agreed to during the negotiations of the first one. Earlier this month, the Power Four commissioners met in Charlotte, where Petiti, who the hell is this guy? This guy is who is Petiti? I'm looking for this guy's name. He is the Big Ten commissioner
Right.
where he said, where the freaking hell is it? Explain the reasoning behind the Big Ten's push for a 2014 format that would include automatic qualifiers. One possible model that's been considered is 4 guaranteed spots for each of the Power Four conferences, 2 for what will become the group of 6, and then two that will become for the group of 6 when the new look Pac-12 begins, and 6 at-large bids for the selection committee to determine. So they want to have a freaking SEC Big Ten tournament. Mind you, that would still, as of right now, not get Miami in the playoffs. Because we're fifth right now in the ACC. We would be if we beat Pitt, we'd be in the top 4, but it's I've always wanted a 16-team tournament. This whole bye week thing is stupid.
Right.
I've always wanted a 16-team
The
tournament.
bye weeks fucked us up, man. Oh my god, bro.
But man, I appreciate you, Jay. Man, thanks for jumping on, man. Thanks for
All right, man.
following, bro.
Appreciate it.
All right, take care. Folks, if anyone else wants to jump on board, I have the lines open. I'll be here for a little while longer. I do want to respond to this one comment I heard. It's read here. Beck can't throw deep. That's inaccurate. Beck threw the ball very well deep against NC State if you watched it. When you let Beck throw, he throws the ball well deep. We got to stop acting like this guy can't throw the ball deep. He is still recovering from an elbow injury where he's finally back to true health. But the pick his deep ball against FSU was spot on. No issues. You're mad because he threw picks against Louisville. The first pick was a perfectly thrown ball to Malachi Tony, and a safety made a great play, and Malachi Tony was interfered with. The second one was slightly underthrown, but a wide receiver has to knock that ball away. And he threw and he didn't get to throw any deep balls against SMU. The one that he did throw, he threw 2, and Trader caught 1, and the other one Trader dropped. And after that, they didn't throw the ball deep the rest of the game. And then against NC State, he did throw deep balls, and he hit them. He's not perfect. The man was 27 of 32 for 320 yards and 4 touchdowns against Virginia Tech last week. We have to acknowledge the man played extremely well, But yes, I just read here. Them not trusting, it's their problem because they're idiots. They're idiots. If they don't trust their quarterback to throw the ball deep, they shouldn't have recruited him. They should not have recruited him if they don't trust their quarterback to throw the ball deep. That means they're idiots as coaches. That's my opinion. But yes, this is being announced. You can expect that next year it will be probably at least a 16-team playoff. Because right here it says this past spring, following the SEC's annual meetings in Destin, Florida, there was overwhelming support from the majority of FBS commissioners and Notre Dame. Make these bums go to the gut. Make these bums please join a conference for a 16-team playoff that would include the 5 highest-ranked conference champs and 11 at-large teams. I think we had some pretty good ideas around 14 to 16. Blase. If it's not 16, if they do 14, it's utterly stupid. Just make the damn thing 16. It's simple. Brother, elite Cuban Kane, let me tell you something. I am a guy by now. Thank you, Sean. I appreciate you. I am a guy right now who just keeps it real. I keep it real. Is Carson Beck the greatest quarterback I've ever seen? Fuck no. Do I think he's got flaws? Yes. This is a program who had Malik Rozier starting at quarterback at one point. We had who else? Kirby Freeman starting at quarterback at one point. Y'all remember him? We've had some guys at quarterback that could not play quarterback. And I will tell you this. Carson Beck is probably, in my opinion, probably the second best quarterback we've had in 20 years behind Cam Ward. My opinion. I covered the Stephen Morrises. I covered the Brad Kayas. And I love Jacory. I like Robert Marv. He is. Well, who's the second best then, Sean Taylor? Who was your second best? Because we treat him, the fans here treat him like he can't shovel your shit on a snow day. Like the fans in Miami treat this guy like he can't shovel shit. Okay, no, Dorsey, I've said 20 years. 20 years. 205. Dorsey was already gone. I'm not comparing. I'm not. You want to include? No. I mean, if I'm going to include other guys, I'll go my entire life. I mean, I thought the QBs in the 80s were probably better. But the last 20 years, the only guy to me that's better than him is Cam Ward. Thank you, Jake. Appreciate you, bro. So hey, share this with your friends. Let people know about this show so we can make it bigger. I want to make this bigger. I want to have a show where we got 300, 400, 500 people in here, 1,000 people that we're all just chopping it up. We can make this show go all damn day. I'll have phone lines where people just talking. I have no problem doing that. But I appreciate everyone jumping on board on Saturday. Just so you know, I do run a weekly podcast typically on Wednesday nights, but this week it will be tomorrow at 8 o'clock. Was it 8 o'clock? I got it. It's at 9, 8 or 9. What time do I have it at? It's either at 8 or 9. I think it's at 8. I should know the time of my own show, shouldn't I? That's pretty bad. Let me see real quick. Studio posts. So it is actually, where is it? God, no. It's at 8 p.m. tomorrow. So 8 p.m. tomorrow, I do a full podcast with my partner, Nick. Hey, Jake, I appreciate it, bro. I don't think Kai and Morris are better than Beck. I do not believe that. I watched those teams play. I don't think they were better than Beck. Not a chance. No way. I watched those guys make mistake after mistake after mistake. If you're sitting here, I mean, let's take a look real quick. I'm gonna do this just for because by the way, Carson Beck ain't thrown a pick in 3 games. Just so you remember that. Were you in 2013? Were you yelling at Stephen Morris for his 12 interceptions? He completed 57.6% of his passes in his senior year. 21 touchdowns and 12 picks. 57.6% completion. That's his senior year. Were you mad at him then? Because I think we were probably pretty terrible that year, if I recall. I don't remember anymore. We were bad for 15 years. Brad Kaya threw 12 picks in his first year starting. He never completed more than 62% of his passes in a single season. So, yeah, I'll take Carson Beck over them. Morris had a gun. He had a cannon. He just couldn't complete balls that were short. Morris had a cannon. Would you take Morris over Dorsey? Fuck no. Rozier? You're on drugs. Bro, Rozier? You're crazy. Epinephrine. Are you on some epinephrine right now? Are you on some of that shit? Whatever that shit is. It's a drug, I know. You think Rozier? Oh, I didn't say Rozier. Who said that? De'Ara King wasn't better than Beck. Nah, he wasn't better than Beck. There's a reason De'Ara King went to, what was he at, Tulane? Yeah, no, he wasn't better than Beck. I don't agree. I don't agree. Hey, we disagree. We disagree. Oh man, I don't know what I just said. That was my bad, folks. I don't know what I just said. I clicked the wrong button. No, I think Carson Beck is very, very solid. I think Carson Beck's going to be a pro. Like we can bet on this right now. Carson Beck's going to get drafted. Carson Beck will be drafted. When I diss King, I didn't say I didn't like King. I'm saying he ain't better than Beck. Carson Beck will be drafted. He will be a draft pick. Mark it down. He will be drafted. He's going to be a backup in the NFL next year. Mark it down. I would take Carson Beck right now and throw him as my starter with the Dolphins. He would start for me for the Dolphins. Fuck Tua. I can't stand that motherfucker. I can't stand that dude. Like, oh my God. Let me have Carson Beck be the Dolphins quarterback, and the Dolphins would be better than they are right now. Shit. I can't stand Tua. Those pussy Alabama quarterbacks. God damn that. live behind these deep ass offensive lines. Nah, Beck is way better than Tua, bro. I mean, oh God. But yeah, so tomorrow I do a live show with Nick, my partner Nick. Yeah, I clicked the back button by accident on the wrong screen. That was my bad. So tomorrow night, 8 p.m., I do a live show with my partner Nick. As I said, this sports related. We hit a bunch of topics. The CFP will be one of them. So it will probably be the first topic. It'll be the first or the second topic. So if you're interested in us going back and forth and debating the conversation, having the conversation, be on at 8 o'clock. We will probably get through that topic in the first hour or so because we go for the literally usually 2 or 3, usually about 3 hours. And Mendoza. Mendoza was a 6-6 QB last year at Cal. Made this dude be like the second coming of Christ. The second coming of Christ. Cam is the best quarterback that's ever played at Miami, and that includes the guys in the 80s that I grew up on. He is the best. God, if we had that kid, gave that kid a defense. Jesus. Goodness, if we gave that kid a defense. So typically, just so you know, so tomorrow night we will have our live show. It'll be nothing on Wednesday or Thursday. I will have recordings up, but I definitely want to wish everyone here a happy Thanksgiving. Enjoy the week. If I don't see you tomorrow night on the live, enjoy the week. I appreciate y'all. I'm not Beck's cousin. I'm Cuban, bro. I'm not freaking a white boy from freaking Jacksonville. Um, and then Saturday, 12 o'clock. I'll jump on about 11:50. 11:50 on Saturday morning. We will be doing it live. I can't show you the game, but I'll be watching the game and I'll be giving my commentary during the game. And after that, we will be we'll have an immediate reaction video. It'll just continue from that stream. We'll do an immediate reaction. I will open up lines. You want to know what's funny before we go? What's funny is that if we lose on Saturday, and I don't want to put that into the ethosphere, but if we lose on Saturday, I give play-by-play. Yes, Sean Taylor, I give play-by-play. I'm giving you the plays as they're happening. So if you're not watching the game, I'll be giving you play-by-play of the game. And the fun way. It won't be the TV way or the radio way. It'll be the fun way. But I do the play-by-play. If we lose on Saturday, everybody will want to be on that reaction to call and go crazy. When we lose, the reaction is so much better than when we win. When we win, it's like, yo, where'd everybody go? No one's here to talk. But when we lose, everybody's here to complain. Everybody's here to go off. Shit. So we will have the lines open after the game for an immediate reaction to the game. And I do hope you jump on board. And we will be there from 11:50 all the way through the game. And crossing our fingers, we get a big, big win, dominate the game, and take care of business. But on a weekly basis, I do a Sunday night show at 8 o'clock called Sunday Night Heat. I do a Monday show, Hurricanes Unfiltered. Tuesday show, this week, Tuesday is the big show. Come on out the podcast. When it's typically on Wednesdays, but this week it's on Tuesday. And then doing the game on Saturday. I do lives for combat sports as well. So if you're here, if you're around on Saturday, it's a fun time. It's a fun time. I try to make it as entertaining as possible and bring you the true raw emotion that I have because it is all raw. It's all raw and true. I just have to avoid a lot of F bombs because the first time I did it, I got demonetized for it because I was just losing it. They tolerate a certain amount of cussing. I must have hit a level of cussing that I didn't even realize was happening. And that's what happens sometimes when you're watching Miami lose to SMU. That was the SMU game. Yeah, that one was rough. That was rough. Well, appreciate y'all. If you haven't done so yet, I appreciate you hit the like button. If you haven't subscribed, subscribe to the channel. And by the way, if you're interested in our merch, you can go get merch at hurricanesunfiltered.com. The merch store is up. It's running. And just go check it out, man. And I appreciate y'all supporting the channel It's great. I thank you as we've grown this year. I think since the beginning of the season, we've probably jumped over 1,400 subscribers. Pretty much all Hurricanes, because I've done a lot. I've really focused on Hurricanes this at this point of the year. I will talk about basketball. I don't know how many people watch basketball here, but once we get a break for a few weeks, I will be talking about Hurricanes basketball. And I do have to jump into some of that recruiting shit. I hate recruiting. I tell you that. I covered recruiting for a long time. I despise it. I did drop a video today about Sam Levitt or CJ Bailey. Take a listen. I don't try to go too deep into the recruiting. I let the recruiting experts handle that, inside the U.com, all these other websites. I let them handle it because I despise recruiting. Recruiting it's not recruiting anymore. It's whoever pays the most. So that's just how it works. But once again, I appreciate y'all people, man. I thank you. Epinephrine, I am the one son. Camacho, Jake Tapper, Sean Taylor, Pat Conyers, Cuban Kane, Jay, who was on earlier, 400, Get Money. Get Money. Yeah. And everyone else who was on, man, I appreciate y'all. Her Rudda Guru. I don't know what that means, but appreciate you being on here. Anything is everything, etc. Old Kane. But thank you so very, very much. Appreciate y'all. Be sure to also follow us on social. Come on now, the podcast and Hurricanes Unfiltered. What do I think about Coleman? He's small. He's small, and that's my concern for Coleman. I don't know that he ever plays. I don't know if they go with a transfer portal guy. I don't know that he plays. Oh, if you want to put your scores in before we go, leave your predictions. I mean, he's only like 5'10". Like they list him at 6. He's 5'10". I mean, that's a concern at quarterback. 5'10" quarterbacks, man. You know how it goes. I mean, there's not that many successful 5'10" quarterbacks, so he better be able to run a lot if that's the case. But my prediction, y'all will get it on Friday. Thursday or Friday. Appreciate y'all. 38-17. I like that number. I kind of see it in that area. And by the way, I am going with Levitt if over CJ Bailey at this point. I need a guy who knows how to win, and Levitt knows how to win. But that's all I got, folks. Appreciate y'all. Y'all have a good night. This is Hurricanes Unfiltered, powered by Come On Now, the podcast. Come on now.